Before the video starts, let me just say thank you so much for helping me reach 2,000 subscribers. I appreciate the support I've gotten over these past couple years. And currently on my community tab, there is a poll to let you vote on what I should do for my 2,000 subscriber celebration video. It'll be open until Friday, this Friday I should say, but I look forward to see what wins. So again, thank you so much, and now on with the video.
Get on with it!
Welcome back. And in this one, it's another record store finds video, but a little bit different than usual because my usual go-to place is Folk Arts Rare Records, but recently I got a comment from a viewer, and if I remember I'll put it right here. It's that person, thank you very much. And this person suggested a different place, and the place is Record City. And at first I was kind of apprehensive because, you know, record stores aren't that close to my house, so I was like, we'll see how far it is. But after looking it up, it actually isn't too far, so I thought, why not? And I went there, and it's overall pretty nice experience. You're probably going to see some B-roll right now, but it's kind of a small place, nothing too big. But there's a ton of vinyl there, and of course there's a wall with CDs in it. So of course that was pretty much the pitch for me, basically. And by the way, I have the card here. I even have a sticker here, so I'll put some B-roll of that as well if I remember. And yeah, it's a pretty nice place. Got a good collection of CDs here, which I'm going to be showcasing in this video. And also the guy who is at the cash register, at the front desk, I should say. I think his name was John. Really cool guy. We actually had a nice conversation as I was checking out. So John, if you happen to stumble on this video, then, you know, nice to meet you. And I'm definitely thinking of going back at certain points. I definitely have to plan out, okay, when I want to go to a certain record store. So we'll see how I'll figure that out. But other than that, of course, if you enjoy Record Store Finds videos, please give the video a like, subscribe if you are new. And without further ado, let me just showcase what I have here. So I was actually kind of surprised. A good chunk of these CDs were actually brand new. I mean, like sealed. Of course, that meant the prices were going to be a bit higher, but still, there were still some cheap ones here. So of course, the first one I'm going to showcase is the Alan Parsons Project, The Turn of a Friendly Card. So of course, Alan Parsons Project, for the most part, kind of a well-known kind of progressive rock band. Of course, you have Alan Parsons, you know, famous engineer, producer, etc. And decided to pick this one up. I'm going to assume it's pretty good. I do like the album, kind of the simple album cover. I did do a small research on some of these, and I found out this is like a concept album about gambling in a sense. So I have no idea what to expect, but I've enjoyed what I've heard from Alan Parsons Project, and might as well, you know, give it a try. And I'll quickly showcase what's inside each case. This one's kind of simple, not much to say about it. Pretty simple disc as well. And then after that, we have Deep Purple. We have Perpendicular. This is a 90s album, and this was the first album to feature Steve Morse on guitar after, you know, Ritchie Blackmore left. And I've heard good things about this one as well. I've heard it's a pretty strong album for them, especially at this point in their career. You see the disc right there. Then the booklet, again, it's very, very straightforward. But before I actually show the booklet, this is actually kind of an interesting one, because another thing at Record City is that a good chunk of the CDs, to my surprise, were actually Japanese issues. So again, you'll see a close-up, but on one side, of course, it's English, where it says Deep Purple Perpendicular. But on the other side, it actually is in Japanese, which tells you that it's a Japanese pressing, or I'm not sure if pressing is the right word for CDs, but oh well. And so the booklet also came with this little Japanese thing. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I'm pretty sure it's an ad or of some sort. Maybe even could be a chart or something, maybe which sold best, I don't know. But that's like kind of interesting, but the booklet itself is kind of, you know, whatever. Next up, we have The Soft Parade by The Doors. By this point now, I now own every album with Jim Morrison leading The Doors, so pretty happy about that. This is the last one I needed. And so I've heard polarizing things about the album though. Some people really enjoy it, some people say it's not as great as other albums. I'll be the judge of that later. Of course, in the comments below, you can let me know your thoughts on any of these CDs that I'm showing. Once again, not much to say on the booklet. Pretty standard fare, just credits and track listing and so on and so forth. Kind of a huge 180 from the Doors. We have Duran Duran, we have Rio. This is probably one I definitely wanted to check out for quite some time. Of course, when you talk about 80s synth pop, Duran Duran is one of those bands that get brought up a lot. And I probably need to check out more Duran Duran anyway, so yeah, very cool. Of course, this is their big album here. This was a huge seller if I remember correctly. And of course, it has the big hit "Hungry Like the Wolf," which I knew that song already, but everything else is pretty new to me. I don't really know any other songs from this album. Okay, so I like the disc though. It has this nice kind of very pale blue color, which I kind of nice. Actually, now this time the booklet is much thicker, so we actually have something to go with. Open it up. Some photos of the band, which is kind of interesting because, of course, the members are Simon Le Bon, Nick Rhodes. Then you have 3 Taylors in the band. You have John Taylor, Andy Taylor, and Roger Taylor. No, not that Roger Taylor, but Roger Taylor from Duran Duran, which is kind of interesting. Okay, you have the lyrics on the inside. Another photo of the band here. You see it right there. More lyrics. And there you go. Nothing too crazy, but still much better than the other booklets we've seen so far. Next up, we have Journey, and we have Trial by Fire, the final album to feature Steve Perry on vocals before he would leave the band forever. There he is on the back with the rest of the band, and you know, you can kind of tell there's some friction as Steve is kind of looking away from the rest of the band. Kind of says a lot, really. There's the inside there. Again, nice CD design. Kind of has a cloudy look to it. Booklet is actually a fold out. Just go ahead. See what's inside. So this side just has all the lyrics here. It's in this black and white sort of look. And then on the back you have these images, which is supposed to be the album cover, but for some reason, I don't know why they decided to just make this a jumbled mess. Because it is the album cover, but a lot of the images are in different places. It's kind of like, what's the point? I don't know, not quite digging that design, but oh well. Again, heard mixed things about this album. I know there's some good songs here. Probably the big song I know is "When You Love a Woman," which was the big ballad on here, and I think it got them a Grammy nomination. So that's cool. But there we go, Trial by Fire by Journey. Now we have Lynyrd Skynyrd, Nothing Special. This is their 3rd studio album. So yeah, getting more Lynyrd Skynyrd. Very cool. Again, I enjoy a good chunk of Skynyrd. I have like 3 others by this point. I have their debut, I have Second Helping, and I have Street Survivor, which was the last one they did with the original lineup. But like I said, this is the 3rd studio album, and I don't really know any songs on there, so it'll be kind of cool to give it a listen. There's the back, by the way. Have a girl really enjoying that gun there. Open it up, a lot of photos of the band in there. And some background info, which is kind of nice. More photos of the bands. And then we have the rest, which just gives you all the credits. And now for some dance pop, we have Madonna with her self-titled debut from 1983. So yeah, I decided to get another Madonna album, because you know, it was there. I'm like, yeah, why not? And I knew one song on here already. That was Holiday, which I really enjoy that song. So yeah. Don't have much else to say, I just got it because it has Holiday on it. But who knows, maybe the other songs will impress me. And I do like Madonna. I think she has some good songs. Not my all-time favorite female artist, but you know, like I said, she has some good songs. There's some photos there of her, of course. I mean, why would there not be? I'm not gonna get like all her albums probably, because you know, there is a drop off. I know that for a fact. And I'll probably get one more album from her. I think it's called Pale Blue. If that's the name of the album, I'll put an image on there if I remember. So that's probably going to be the last Madonna album I will get. But yeah, not much else to say. Just, it's Madonna. And now we have two from the same band, and that band is Supertramp. I actually was very surprised I was able to find these two. It's actually, the reason why I'm surprised is because you're not really going to find these too often in the wild, because they're kind of rare. Because of course, once they get to their third album, that's when they really start to find their stride. But yeah, I actually have their first two albums here. So of course, we'll start with their debut from 1970. And I do like the album cover. I think the album cover is kind of nice. Kind of weird, but it's definitely catches your attention, I'd say. I'd wear it on a shirt. At the back, you just have, of course, just photos of the band at the time. Of course, not the classic lineup per se. Of course, you still have Roger Hodgson and Rick Davies, but the other two are people that wouldn't stick around for too long. Okay, it just folds out, and not much to say. Just pretty much the same thing that's on the back, really. Same images here, and just gives you the songs here. Pretty straightforward. There's the disc as well. Not much to say here. So I'm curious to hear what they sounded early on, because I do know, I have heard that, you know, they're still trying to find their sound by this point. Again, they're just playing around. So there's the debut, and here's their second album. And by the way, these weren't there. I put them there myself because I don't want this video to be taken down, so I had to censor this cover. So it's easy tape to remove. It doesn't leave residue, thankfully. But this is their second album, indelibly stamped. Surprisingly, that's hard to say. But yeah, again, kind of the same boat as the debut. Still trying to find their unique voice. And I've heard conflicting things. I've heard people say it's an improvement. Some people say it was not an improvement. Disc, again, like the debut, pretty straightforward, and the booklet, and I'm gonna be careful not to show. So in the inside, again, not much to say. Just gives you the bare minimum of what you need to know. There you go. So let's put this away, and there we go. We have the first two Supertramp albums on CD. We actually have pretty much all the albums up to Breakfast in America now, which is kind of nice. So we'll see. I might try to get their full discography. We'll see. Almost there, just two more to go. Next up, we have Thin Lizzy. We have Chinatown. All right, just building more of that Thin Lizzy collection. So far, I have not listened to a bad Thin Lizzy album so far. I've pretty much enjoyed all of them at this point, and I'm definitely expecting another good one here. Especially I've heard people say this is another really good album. Just great hard rock at its finest. I mean, Phil Lynott, just great bass and vocalist here, and of course the guitar playing on a lot of these albums are top notch. Like, Phil Lynott knows how to pick great guitar players. I know they've gone through many guitar players, but this should still be good though. Let me just try to get this booklet out. I know it's another one of those like pamphlet thingies where there's not much to say about it. Just gives you the basic info. There's the back of it, and then you have credits. Not much to say again. But other than that, looking forward to this one. And now we have one more CD to go. And to me, this is probably the biggest score here, especially if you're a Beach Boys fan. This album is called Pacific Ocean Blue by Dennis Wilson. I've heard great things about this one. Probably of all the Beach Boys solo albums, this is usually ranked as one of the best, if not the best. And of course, I've always been a big fan of Dennis's stuff while in the Beach Boys, a very underrated singer and songwriter. And so that was pretty much the selling point. Of course, this came out in 1977, and this is actually a deluxe edition here that I have. And the disc 1 is the original album, but disc 2 has pretty much the songs that would have made up his second solo album, which was called Bamboo. which was never released, but for the anniversary of Pacific Ocean Blue, they decided to include it, which is kind of cool. So the packaging is pretty cool. So of course you open it up, it looks like your standard kind of like digipack double disc set, but this part actually folds down, and you can see the full image here of Dennis. And you have, of course, it says Pacific Ocean Blue on the top, and on the bottom you have this kind of little thing from Dennis here. It says, "This is my first solo album away from the Beach Boys. I'm sure you understand that I am a bit nervous about this endeavor. I want to thank you for your support, and I would be very interested in any comments or suggestions you might have after listening to this album. Thank you, Dennis Wilson." So that's kind of nice. And the booklet is actually, again, kind of attached to the thing, which is always kind of cool. Just gives you kind of history on the album, a lot of photos, so on and so forth, which is very cool. So yeah, I'm not going to go too in depth because it's actually a pretty thick booklet here. And then you fold this out. Of course, this is where all the discs are. And each one, I'll take out one of them because the design of each disc is the same. So they all look like this. There we go, kind of nice. But yeah, definitely looking forward to giving this a listen. This should be definitely a good highlight of this month. And there you have it. That's all the CDs I picked up at Record City. So let's recap. Let's go in reverse order. First up, we have Dennis Wilson, Pacific Ocean Blue. Thin Lizzy, Chinatown. We have the two Supertramps. We have the debut album. And we have Indelibly Stamped, still hard to say, Madonna with her debut album. There's Skinnerd, Nothing Special. Journey, Trial by Fire. Duran Duran, Rio. The Soft Parade by The Doors. Deep Purple with Perpendicular. And finally, we have Alan Parsons Project, The Turn of the Friendly Card. So like I said earlier, in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on any of the CDs that I picked up here. I look forward to your comments. And if there's another place you want me to check out in San Diego, then feel free to let me know as well. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.